Good morning. Is the mic on? Am I on? Oh, now I am. Okay, good. Groovy. All right. Good morning. I'm Beth Blake Hedges, and I'm a worship associate here at Horizon. We're excited to welcome you today to our worship service this morning. We're so glad to have you with us today, whether you're joining us in person or virtually, whether you're here for the first time or whether you've been here longer than you can remember. Me. Here at Horizon, we welcome people of all faiths and of no faith in particular. Whoever you are, wherever you are in your journey, you are welcome among us. Today is the Water Communion Sunday, a day when we acknowledge the sacrality, this is not an easy word to say, of nature and affirm our connections to the planet and to one another. You have been provided a slip of paper. And you'll see water drops, water-shaped droplets are for something else. They're slips of paper in little baskets. During the service, you're invited to write on this piece of paper about water that's meaningful to you and why, and then just drop them off in a little basket at the back as you head on to the program fair in the fellowship hall, where you can learn about all the excellent extracurricular activities we have here. And now I'd like to ask Laura Wooten to come up and speak to you about this survey.
Good morning, everyone. I am Laura Wooten, and I am co-chair of the Ministerial Search Committee. As many of you know, we are in search. Meredith is our interim minister, and we are so lucky to have her. But we are searching for a permanent settled minister that will be coming hopefully next summer. But as part of that work, we need your input about what you love about Horizon, about what is important to you in worship, about why you come to church. So please see if we are 70% to goal, which is exciting, but we need more. So if you have not completed your survey, there's a QR code in your order of service. And if you could take a few minutes to do that later today, before next Sunday, because that's our deadline, we have to close it off at some point. And even if you're a visitor and haven't come very often, we still want your input. All right? Thank you so much.
Our call to worship this morning is entitled Learning to Love This World by the Reverend Molly Gordon. She writes, "Fat drops of dew on the emerald leaves of a succulent. We gather together this morning tenderly, like drops of dew on a leaf of grass, hopefully, like gathered raindrops in a cloud, gleefully, like water rushing in a stream to the sea, deeply, like groundwater pulled up from a well. We gather from every direction for another year of growth and depth, another year of companionship and hope, another year of learning to love this world. We gather like the water that joins us all across creation, the water that connects us within and without, merging and flowing across the entire world. Come, let us worship together."
We Gather as Many Drops by Leslie Takahashi. We gather as many drops, each winding our own path down life's surfaces and ruts. Here we pool together as a single body, flowing together for a time. Together we are a stream, at times even a river. For with our shared force we can travel toward oceans of meaning and seas of connection. Now, I'd like you to join me in our affirmation, which is printed in your bulletin, and it's on the screen. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together. Our opening hymn is Shall We Gather at the River? Please rise as you are.
Okay, good morning. Today, we're going to be having a story in 3 parts about a river that wends its way throughout the worship service. And we have lots of people helping. And if I didn't contact you, you are helping too. And this is an interactive story. So we ask that if you're young, or even if you're young in heart, that you also participate. Many of you have items in your seat. You might see some things next to you. Go ahead and grab something next to you that doesn't look like it's usually there. Maybe you have to look in the seat behind you or in front of you. Just make sure you have a prop. So before we begin, we're going to talk about the water cycle. And most of us know how it goes. But first of all, you know it all starts with the sun. Very good, very good. Thank you, sun. And then next, the next step is water. And water is flowing in oceans and rivers and streams and rivulets. And then it gets heated by the sun, and it starts rising to the sky. So can I say our water drops rise to the sky? Excellent water drops. Now, the next step is that the water drops turn into water vapor. Who has water vapor? Could you hold it up really high? It looks like comets because it's rising into the sky. Very good. Then these come together and form beautiful white fluffy clouds. Can I see our fluffy clouds? Oh, very good clouds. Excellent work. Excellent, excellent. And yes, you may play more than one role. If you want to be water vapor and a cloud, that's great. And then last of all, the clouds come together, and then we start getting storm clouds. Can I see our storm clouds? They're gray and angry looking. Very nice. Yes, very good storm clouds. Excellent. Okay. There are no bad clouds in this. They're storm clouds. So once again, but let me remind you, it goes the other way now. The storm clouds release their rain. So raindrops, we need you falling from the sky. And then finally, the sun comes back out to start the cycle all over again. I think we are ready to start our story.
How can a story that is a never-ending circle have a beginning? I wonder, where do we start? I think we'll start with change. In the beginning, there was change for water and for us too. Today, we will think of ourselves as water and see where such a story takes us. Imagine and embark upon this journey with us and with water. The sun shines and heats the earth. Water droplets, drawn from a multitude of sources, change and evaporate into the air and are pulled up to the clouds. They are subliminal, which means between one state of being and another, changing. We change like water. Water shifts from liquid to gas to liquid again. This is what science has shown us, yet it's still all quite a mystery, and poetic too.
If you have water drops, can you raise them up and wiggle your water droplet around to show that it's changing, rising, turning into vapor? So there they go. And the droplets are heated and are lifted up, 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 up to become lighter than air and become water vapor. Can we see the water vapor now? The vapor rises up higher and enters the high, high atmosphere where it is gathered into clouds.
If you have a white cloud, can you hold it up now? And let's see those white fluffy clouds. The raindrops, which have become water vapor, have gathered as clouds. And now they are changing again, condensing and becoming thicker. And now let's see those storm clouds, please. Yeah, at the very far end, we have some of those gray clouds all full of water. And they look like they're ready to storm. And now they're releasing their moisture. And raindrops begin to fall from the sky. If you have a gray cloud, it can go down. The clouds have condensed back now into water droplets, and the water has been made whole again and restored.
So our story began with change, and yet also begins in oneness and connectedness. And water is born again from this wholeness, made unique and set apart as it becomes separate water droplets coming back to the earth as rain. So we'll pause our story here. We're telling it in 3 parts this morning, and begin our offertory. We come now to the time in our worship service where we share our gifts with one another, our gifts that sustain the ministries of this church. We'll now joyfully give and receive.
The river is a healer, the river is a sage, the river knows no end, and the river feels no age. The river is a leader every single day. It's living in the moment, and it always finds a way. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole.
River calls me over, it's calling out my name. In the day and in the night, I feel that river all the same. It's calling me over, calling out my pain. Oh, a river gathers tears just like a river gathers rain.
Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole.
The river is a traveler, always on the go. The river never worries, it's fast or if it's slow. River, take me to where I need to go. Oh, and I will just relax and let the river flow.
Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole.
When I go down to the water,
By the water I feel whole.
This is the part where the adults come to help. So adults, if we practiced before worship, would you please come forward and come to your places? You know, I wonder where the water goes now that it's risen into the sky, has become clouds, and has fallen as rain. Now, this is the part of the story when the rain falls onto the ground and little streams of water begin to move downstream.
They are pulled, they are gathered, as if by a magnetic force, from tiny rivulets in the mountains to small streams and creeks in backyards and beside country fields, ever moving toward that mystery, downstream. Creeks and streams meet up with rivers, the largest moving bodies of water.
Going downstream for water is much like our experience at church. We enter into the community for the first time, alone or with family members, not knowing if we will fit in. And then little by little, we make friends and find meaning here. The water starts out alone in the cathedral of nature, moving through forests and over rocks, mostly alone, going with the flow. We are like this water. Psalm 42 tells us deep calls to deep, and we are gathered into one strong body of faith, a moving force that changes the landscape of our worlds and changes us into more than we were. We'll pause now for our time of meditation and prayer. We'll join in our silence together, share joys and sorrows of our community, and we'll join in a guided meditation about the strength of water. Then we'll join in singing our responsive hymn, Spirit of Life. So I invite you now into a moment of silence. We share in a joy this morning of the education this morning around stained glass and the meanings it holds, the adult education, gratitude for that. So I invite you to join now in this guided meditation. This is called The Strength of Water, and it's by Jamila Batchelder and Molly Gordon. From above, a river cuts through an evergreen forest. The strength of water takes on many, many forms, just as each of you has a unique and necessary strength that you bring to our community and to the work of love. Take a moment now to drop down into the deep wellspring of your own spirit and bathe yourself in the strength that is the groundwater of your person. Are you a roaring fall wearing rock away with sheer force of will? Are you a tiny drop of water in a crevice, breaking it open slowly, steadily? Are you buoyant, like a great salt lake, practiced at holding others aloft? Are you tenacious, like the mountain stream, finding your way down and around every obstacle you face? Are you still and calm, like the pond at daybreak, offering radiant peace by your shores? Are you in touch with hidden depths, pulling from a vast well? Do you soothe like the steam rising from a cup of tea? Do you dissolve away stubborn muck like water left in a pot to soak? Do you soften and smooth the edges like a creeping fog? Do you clear away distraction like a cleansing rain? Do you roll with the ebb and flow like ocean waves? Settle your mind upon the strength, the power that is yours. Draw that strength into your heart, draw it up into your soul. As we gather together the many waters of this community, we need each of your power, each of your resilience, each of your love to make us whole. May it be so. Amen. I invite us to remain seated and join in singing together our responsive hymn, Spirit of Life.
So this is the part of the story when the children are going to help. If I talked to you before, would you come on up front with your water drops? And can my rivers please come to the front too? And you don't have to be a kid to be a water drop. So come on up. All right, does everybody up front have water drops? Can you face forward, please, so that the people in the seats can see you? It's okay, we got lots of water drops, no problem. I think we're ready for part 3 of our story, Many Rivers to the Sea. So, where did we leave our water drops during the last part of the story? Our droplets have been lifted up into the air. So can we see them being lifted up into the air? Higher and higher and higher. And remember, they turned into water vapor, and then they became clouds where they condensed. That means they came together, and they fell back down as water droplets. They fell from the sky. Are we falling from the sky? I'm getting on my page. Excellent. I'm going to put my river down. So they fell into forests and cities, and they gathered together into tiny riverlets and creeks, which were in turn turned into mighty rivers. And can we start seeing those mighty rivers start flowing now?
They start
Thank you.
moving downstream, but now together in such numbers that they must be a little in awe of their newfound power. Can the river people now please come up and stand on either side of the chancel? Okay, here we go. As the river flows downstream, it gains more water from other streams, rivers, springs, waterfalls, added rainfall, becoming mighty, developing deep currents in a kind of committed fellowship.
So it's here that I imagine the droplets becoming like a church community, not just pulled toward an unknown, but letting go, giving in, remembering their place in the strong, dynamic body they have become. It is in the river that our little raindrops begin to remember their early beginnings in the ocean, remember oneness and source, to see themselves as part of something bigger, and to believe that wherever they are headed, they are in it together. Rivers are powerful. Just think of roaring waterfalls or how quickly rivers can rise and the force with which they can flood. There is a mysterious calling, a gathering force that draws water and humans together towards a common purpose.
Our bodies are over 60% water, and the earth is over 70% water. We are called by what's inside us, just as the water droplets are. Remember, deep calls to deep. Our souls grow deep. We are called, we are gathered to one another and into community towards the mystery.
Rivers flow one way, downstream. The water that begins as vapor and tiny raindrops and young rivulets become merry streams, grows wise and strong in rivers flowing home, changing the world as they go along as one strong body. They end by pouring into the deep ocean, called the mother or source of so many. It's here that water waits to be lifted up to begin the cycle again.
We human beings also begin with the illusion of separateness, pulled from different places and points of view, but from the same oneness, from the same source. We have much in common with rivers. We are but drops of water. Alone we would disappear, dried by the sun or absorbed by the earth. But together we can join forces and wear out stones, just as the Colorado River carved out the Grand Canyon. So let us be streams and rivers that find our way to the sea. It is in joining together that we remember where we come from, what we are, and where we are going. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, rivers and water drops. Let's take our seats.
We heard the choir sing earlier those beautiful words from singer-songwriter Coco Love Alcorn. Water, heal my body. Water, heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. May those words be our guide this morning. From the creek by our house in Arkansas, fishing with my dad as a little girl, to beach days with my parents and all my siblings when we lived in Connecticut, to lakes in Maine, the swimming hole in Arkansas where I started to become scared of snakes and learned about water shoes, to the white sand beaches in Pensacola. Something about water is transformative and has always left me renewed. And this, I think, is a universal experience. It's, in a way, kind of what baptism is about. Not really the religious part, but the idea that as you emerge from water, you are renewed somehow, that you can be transformed somehow. Water and the places it lives have seen me through many changes, both those I welcomed and those I didn't. Water is about place, identity, connection. It's one of the things that carries us from birth to death. It's visceral and childlike. Water is our first home in the womb. That feeling of floating is so natural and free. Water has a way of carrying us, of allowing us to experience the weightlessness that we first knew before we entered the world, that we seek when we are tired of carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. And in this way, water has always had a freeing, healing, transformative property. Through it, we can be renewed. Water has also long been a metaphor for the divine, or considered sacred in some way across traditions. Saint Teresa of Avila, the Carmelite nun, famously wrote in The Interior Castle about the stages of contemplative prayer as waters, because they move and flow. And her meditations on prayer and mysticism have moved many. In Buddhism, water symbolizes life, purity, calm, clarity. Earth-centered traditions that honor the elements count water as central among them. We have from the Psalms, "My soul thirsts for you. My soul thirsts for the living God." In Judaism, there's the concept of the mikveh, the ritual bath that cleanses. We literally need water to survive. Of course, we hold it sacred. Water is powerful, both beautiful, the stuff of life, and also can be the stuff of death. Water cannot be separated from climate change and devastation, from suffering, from droughts and dryness, suffering the lack of water, to floods that have decimated Pakistan. Water, like all elements of nature, is both beautiful and terrifying. Water shows up and is inherently tied to all of our beginnings. It is our first home in the wombs of our mothers before we make our way into the world. It's the first thing we drink when we wake up. It's what keeps our bodies going. And the water ceremony is a realization of all of that. It's an expression of gratitude for all we've been given, for all we need to survive, knowing that it might be otherwise. We use the water ceremony each year, where we come and share sacred water with one another to mark a time of gathering together, of rejoining, maybe from our time away and maybe not. It is an act of worship that demonstrates the interconnectedness of us all. Unitarian Universalist laywomen Lucille Longview and Carolyn McDade, author of our beloved hymn Spirit of Life, created what they called the water ritual as a worship service for the Women and Religion Continental Convocation of Unitarian Universalists in 1980. Both Longview and McDade were prominent feminists, and they created the ritual in this vein. The water ceremony was created to, quote, emphasize water as a metaphor for life, birth, and women's empowerment. These are their own words when reflecting upon their creation. We were beginning to reach for new and inclusive symbols and rituals that speak to us of our connectedness to one another, to the totality of life, and to our place on this planet. The water ceremony became the central part of a religious service that broke with tradition in significant ways. It was created by lay women, women who had long been silent in the pews. The vital parts of the ceremony are the bringing of waters, the sharing of meaning, the experiencing the intermingling of waters by the group, and the taking of them from the ritual. And now we honor the history of this ritual and acknowledge that it emerged from the need for embodied spirituality, pouring water into a shared vessel, letting it wash over your fingers, knowing that all water is one and that it is central to creating and sustaining life. We acknowledge that this beauty came from the voices of those who were long silent in the pews, whose voices were not often heard. And it's a turning from worship of only the written word to something sensory, playful, something felt. And this year, as we think about birth, new life, emergence, things coming into the world, maybe that metaphor is necessary for us now in ways we hadn't seen before. This is the first time in years that we are gathering here physically, for many of us, together to partake in this ritual. And there is joy, certainly, but we must acknowledge too that there has been pain. We have been told by every part of society that we needed to move forward, that we had to get back to our lives, and we have returned to our church, to our worship services, and our volunteer roles, and yet we forget the miracle it is that we are here, gathered. And we still mourn the loss of the way our lives were. So much change has taken place, and try as we might, we can never really go back to what was. We are fundamentally different. We are not the same people we were then. We honor our past selves and our current emerging selves, and our world is different too. We have survived. Our community has survived, not by holding fast to what once was, but by allowing change that we didn't always want, that we wish we hadn't needed, and allowing the ripples of that newness to be felt, by allowing something new to be born. Healing is needed, and it will take whatever time it takes. There are two images I love for describing community and connection, and I use them frequently. And the first is a knot, which I love because it is snarled and messy, and you can't easily untangle it, which is just how relationships are. And the other one is ripples on the surface of glassy water, demonstrating the way our actions impact one another in ways that we can feel. Together we are changing. We are becoming a river. We are continuing to return to this community. We all pour, little by little, bits and pieces of our souls into this place, these people, this church, into this river that we are becoming, and make this place what it is. Maybe you teach RE just a couple times, and you touch children's lives that grow up bringing love and justice into a world that is crying out in need. You make ripples. You change people's lives in ways you may never know. We all pour into this collective vessel. We gather here, we share our gifts, we give to this place, and we feel the ripples reverberating back. The vessel represents our community, the way each one of us is needed, Each one of us makes an impact. Each one of us creates ripples. And maybe that's the way we heal and get healed. We pour into our collective vessel in whatever way we can, and we let the water, the ripples, the ways we feel our connections to one another, we let them heal us, slowly, but heal us nonetheless. Together we are changing, healing, feeling, becoming. So let us become the river of our dreams together. May it be so. Amen. It is time now to partake in our water communion ceremony, the mingling of the waters. When the choir begins singing, I invite you to come forward, row by row, as the ushers direct you, making your way down our center aisle, and pour some water into our communal vessel here, symbolizing the way we each bring our unique voice, spirit, and gifts to this community. As you hear the words of the music, allow yourself to be healed in some way, large or small, by this ritual we do together. And if you feel so moved, please join your voice along with the choir. Let us now begin to share our water with one another.
When I go down
I invite you to join me in blessing all of our shared water. When I pause, please answer, "This water is sacred." A tiny drop of water bouncing off the surface of water in a bowl. This water is sacred. It is made sacred by the hands that have poured it with intention and love. The many stories that each drop contains, the many lives surrounding it in this unique moment, connected by commitment and faith. This water is sacred. May it continue to flow through this community with shining reflections of the unique gifts that flow through each of its members. This water is sacred. May it continue to nurture this community with sustaining hope that we journey together through ripples of growth and change. This water is sacred. May it continue to bless this community with loving reminders of our collective responsibility to one another and to the world. This water is sacred. May its ripples be a reminder that the changes and growth within this community bring movement and transformation to the world beyond our doors. This water is sacred. May its purity offer grace to our community and the willingness to forgive ourselves and one another when we make mistakes. This water is sacred. In moments when we are confused or uncertain, may it bring us clarity of purpose and commitment. This water is sacred. In moments when the reservoirs of hearts and spirits are drained by sorrow or pain, may it nourish them with the knowledge that we are surrounded by a deep and abundant love. This water is sacred. May it be so. I invite you to rise, either in body or in spirit, and join in singing our closing hymn, "There's a River Flowing in My Soul."
We extinguish this flame, but not our commitment to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. This we do because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world.
Our benediction today is called All Rivers Run to the Sea by Cale Rice. A blue, watery field with the words in slinky cursive, coming home, like rivers to the sea. It starts with a drop, then a trickle, a burble, a rush of water bubbling towards its destination, and finally the wide, endless sea. All rivers run to the sea. Today you brought water, poured it into a common bowl. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today you came and shared in this sacred community. May you depart this sacred space, hearts filled with hope for new beginnings, a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community, where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles, where your life cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found this place to be a home. All rivers run to the sea. Go in peace.